Hi everyone, my name is Noelle and welcome to my channel, Delinquent Muse. So in my guides, I plan to focus on the highlights and show you things that I haven't seen anywhere else in YouTube. I'll also talk about important things you wouldn't want to miss from the official guide, which by the way is an awesome book, you should definitely get it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about several things: the rusted coin, trading with Dyna and Tillo at their bird nest. I'll show you the special ring you can get and all the weapons you might get by trading with them. I'll also show you how to defeat a couple of the ogres early in the game, and finally I'll show you how things Betwixt looks when you light all the sconces. I wasn't going to light them until I saw someone else try it. I mean, I thought the area was beautiful already, but really with the sconces lit, it makes it even more so. And you're going to be coming back here quite a bit to trade anyways, so I really think it's worth your time. But real quick, I want to talk about that opening scene where our character first arrives in Things Betwixt. You know, you see that huge crack up in the wall above? Well, I just love how we see that, and it's not quite clear where we are, but it's full of forests and lakes and waterfalls and creatures, and it seems like it's nighttime, but we later find out that it definitely isn't, and that we're actually inside some kind of gigantic cavern. Well, you might remember how in the first Dark Souls, New Lundo Ruins was also inside of some kind of huge hollow mountain, and if you look up, you can see a giant hole in the ceiling there too. And even though it wasn't a beautiful place like Things Betwixt, it still makes for a magical and mysterious atmosphere in both places. I just love that. But anyways, getting back to the game. Right now I have two characters, a sorcerer and a swordsman, or swordswoman, whichever you prefer. And here I'm creating the swordswoman, and I call her Tsubaki after the characters in Inuyasha and Soul Eater. So when you finish your character, make sure to talk to the firekeepers and grab that human effigy that's in the treasure chest upstairs. Later in the game, when you have the Ring of the King, use the talk option with the main character, or the main firekeeper, Stroen. She's the one who's sitting at the table and kind of guides you through making your character. Come back here and talk to her, and she'll give you 6 human effigies, so that's pretty helpful. And always make sure to talk to all the characters you meet in the game until they start repeating themselves, because they might give you something pretty cool, and they might even move to Majula for you. So I'll let you take care of the tutorial area yourself, and I'll take you straight to Dyna and Tillo to see what kind of trades they've got for me. So with one of my characters, I used the rusted coin while trading with them, since I hoped the reason for them giving it to us so early in the game was in order to use it here. But we'll see how that works out. The description for the rusted coin, according to the official guide, is that using the coin boosts your luck and increases item discovery by 1% for about 5 minutes. So at first I thought this meant better drops, so that's why I tried using it here, but I've since come to realize that the coin, along with clothing that has the same effect, increases drop rate, but not necessarily quality of drops. So since these birds already have 100% drop rate, this isn't the best use for the rusted coin. But I have found it's pretty good for farming armor, and that is very helpful for deprived characters. You might also want to try using it when you defeat an NPC phantom, because they have a pretty low drop rate already, but the rusted coin might help with that. You can get some of their rare items. But since the drop increase from the coin is only 1%, I wouldn't use it for something like farming effigies from the dogs in Lost Bastille. Instead, I'd wait to farm them until you can get the +1 gold covetous serpent ring, which would increase the drop rate by a lot. And you can get this ring from Magarold of Lanifear. He's a merchant you can find in Iron Keep, but it's kind of tricky to get it from him. You have to first spend 10,000 souls on his merchandise, and then talk to him, and then he'll give it to you. So you saw my character who didn't use the coin got a Soul of a Lost Undead, and my sorcerer is about to use the coin, and she'll end up getting a Divine Blessing, which is a bit better of a drop. But with another quick character I started, I ended up getting a life gem, so I'm not so confident about using the coin here. Still, there could be a difference in drop quality using the rusted coin, because, I mean, this isn't a scientific study or anything. But because of the guide description, I think the coin is probably better used elsewhere. Items you can trade include silky stones, petrified somethings, and they also take prism stones, which you can buy from the cat merchant in Majula. Or you can find them throughout the game. Silky stones can be found throughout the game, but petrified somethings are pretty rare, so that's why I chose it as a starting gift. Trading the prism stones and the regular size smooth and silky stones haven't really rewarded me with much, but I've had great luck with the small smooth and silky stones. After trading about 20 of those, I got all the weapons, the white ring, petrified dragon bone, and twinkling titanite. But I'm still waiting to score that titanite slab, so if you get it, let me know what you traded for it, and I'll keep trying. But it's possible to use your silky stones to recover some health during gameplay, so that's their other use. But because of their awesome trading potential, I save all my silky stones for the nest. So here I'm about to trade my second petrified something, and I get a twinkling titanite, which is really good because so far we don't have a merchant who sells very much of it. And so now I'm going to show you some of the better items you can get from these birds. I'll start with the white ring and move on to the weapons. The white ring is pretty interesting, and it's my favorite find yet because when you wear it, you take on the appearance of a white phantom. I've co-opted a lot in this game, and I've only seen it used once, but you can see how this would be an advantage against invaders, especially if you have a white phantom friend with you. And I'm trying to get a good look at her face to see if she also looks human, and she doesn't, but I think the phantom effect is still a great disguise. So now I'm going to head down the ladder so I can show you some of these pretty cool weapons you can get from the nest. I'm going to start with the Channeler's Trident. It requires a strength of 11, dexterity of 15, scales an E in strength and a C in dexterity. It's classified as a spear. It has a starting damage of 130, but the best part about this weapon is the strong R2 attack, which is a dance. And it's a dance that gives you and any nearby allies a boost in your attack power. And this is the same function it had in Dark Souls 1, so it's not much different, but it's a lot of fun. Next I'm going to show you the Great Demon's Hammer, and it's as beastly as it sounds. It requires a strength of 50, dexterity of 8, it scales a B in strength, and it has a starting damage of 300, but it can upgrade to 450, and that does not include scaling. I'm pretty sure this is the weapon the old ironclad soldiers are using on us in the Forest of Fallen Giants. You know, those big turtle guys? Yeah, pretty scary. Finally, I'll show you the old whip. It requires a strength of 7, dexterity of 20, scales an E in strength and a B in dexterity. It's got a starting base damage of 233, so it's the highest damaging whip you can get this early in the game, and I've seen it perform pretty effectively in PvP, especially if you're going to do something evil with it, like infuse it with poison or something like that. Please don't come at me with something like that. Now, as far as I know, you can get these weapons in the White Ring only through this random trade system that they got right here at the Bird's Nest, but please let me know if you're able to get them another way. So here I decided to show you this ladder after the jump area in the tutorial because I've seen people miss it. So after you pick up the sorcerer's item and jump across the chasm, make a quick left and head up that ladder. Your reward for doing this is a plunge attack on some enemies. And then there's also a treasure hidden behind a closed door. Plunge attacks are less forgiving in this game. I noticed that you have to hit the attack button not when you're approaching the enemy, but kind of more when you're closer to hitting the floor. So if you're having trouble connecting, try that. So now let's see if I can defeat some ogres. I just started playing the game, and I thought it'd be fun to see if I could get him to fall off the tree. And I have a cutscene here because the first time I tried to lure him to the tree, I outran him and he actually lost interest and ran back to the beach. So this is my second attempt. I didn't really know their attack set yet, so I'm playing pretty cautiously, but I noticed how clumsy they are. So I realized I needed to bait the attack while I was on the tree because then he'd be more likely to fall down that way. And my sorcerer was able to defeat all three of them using magic pretty easily. So she got that ladle from the firekeeper, which I still have yet to see a clever use for. Let me know if you find out anything funny or interesting about it. I'd like to know. And sure enough, let's see. There he goes. Alright, so do the same thing for the next ogre, and you can win that ladle too. The third ogre is guarding a treasure on the other side of the firekeeper's cottage, And he or she drops the stone ring, which is cool because it lowers your enemy's poise. Oh, but the real reward for defeating the ogres is safe use of this coffin on the beach. And still, I have no idea what it does. You know, it's a mystery. I get in. First time I expected to go back in time to Dark Souls 1 and say what's up to Nito, but, you know, I got out of the coffin. Didn't really know what happened. Didn't go anywhere new. But then I realized I had this really awful haircut all of a sudden. So apparently this comic gives you a really crappy haircut. Well, no, you know, I'm kidding, but I was able to tell pretty quickly what happened, but it's pretty awesome that a lot of people don't realize the change until much later in the game, especially if they're wearing a helmet. So my character doesn't translate so well with all that purple hair and pink bird on the face tattoo. And I thought it was pretty terrible, so I went back to change him back, and yeah. Well, so then I decide I might as well get a good look at the full change. So I'm gonna remove some of his equipment. I was like, yeah, she's a dude. But I thought, well, he's looking a lot more masculine now. I'm like, well, that's not so bad. Maybe I can get used to it. But yeah, that definitely wasn't there before, so I'm gonna go get my boobs back. But seriously, I love From Software for doing this. I mean, along with being able to change your stats, some people are gonna want to change their gender and see how the armor changes, because sometimes it does. And how funny is it that some people don't even know what happened after leaving the coffin for a long time? I don't know if FromSoft planned that, but if they did, that's pretty hilarious. Oh, so here's the final scene I promised you, of things betwixt all lit up. You know, people say you don't get anything special for lighting up these sconces, but I think the area is especially beautiful when you do, and it's like a reward in itself. So whoever designed this place with this effect in mind, I think is a great artist, and you know, I just love everything about this game, especially the art. So in closing, I'd like to thank you for joining me and watching this far. Remember, in this game we're going to die, and we're gonna die a lot, but by the end of it, we'll prevail. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, this opening view of Majula, it just never gets old. My name is Noelle, and I'll see you next time.